mean, you really want to have like at least 10 times the research that you'll actually need. And that's the level we're looking at. Because we'll get into like how you put it together, but if you don't have the raw materials, and you can't just, and that's where people fail, is they're like, all right, I'm gonna sit down and write a sales letter. I don't know what the fuck it's about. I don't even know where it's supposed to go, and like I don't even know where to start. And that's where people can spend, you know, months, years of their life just spinning the wheels, not accomplishing anything. If you have a lot of raw materials, then you have somewhere to start. Like the text your wife into bed or text your ex back. I mean, a lot of it came from like the technological shift of everybody having an iPhone, because those offers maybe like 4 or 5, 6 years old now, where people everyone was just commonly texting people. And that's pretty, and to be honest, there's probably other dating programs at the time that even had text messaging as part of it. But he pulled that out as kind of unspoken mechanism that just seemed like magic. Like, oh, if I just know the right text messages, then I can solve my relationship problems. People's example here helps Instagram so they can make money in the brand partnerships. Do I think I can get more targeted with my avatar? Well, what kind of people are you targeting? I mean, the more, you know, to be honest, the more granular you get, the more effective it's going to be. I mean, it's getting down to like age groups or demographic things or income levels or job titles. Like, what kind of person are you aiming at to give your Instagram branding partnership strategies to? Are they people in marketing departments? Are they small business people? I mean, the more you can make, you can go buy whatever doll you want on Amazon, but the more you can have a mental picture. And some people, I like little dogs, he's like 3-dimensional, but some people put pictures up, you know, in front on their computer. But you definitely should have a mental picture of like one person that represents the market you're aiming at. Now, like, people don't want to do that because scarcity mindset, and they think like, well, what about all the other people that could buy? Well, you know what? Just get that. If you can make that particular offer scale at that small group, then you're probably gonna make a lot of money, not even have to worry about the next step. But you can always come up with other offers aimed at other people and really broaden your audience. But that's such a, like, make it work to a small group of people before you scale it to a big group of people.
And just to tag on what Ryan's saying, like, he's holding up Grandpa Kurt, like, don't take that as something like, oh, that's a good idea, Ryan, Jason, thanks guys, and then don't fucking do it. Like, actually do it. Like, this is Tony.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I got Tony here. Okay, Tony's 28 years old. I can tell you all about Tony, right? And I get, Ryan, you even heard me say this, but I was writing, so I write copy for 3 hours every morning. Like, that's what I do every morning. So I was writing copy the other day, and it's like one of my first times. And when I'm writing, I keep Tony right next to the computer, right? Because it's not about me and what I think is clever. It's exactly what's going on in this dude's head and his heart, and speaking of that, to get him to inspire into action. But I wrote something, and then this is like some weird shit. I pick up Tony, and I hold him in front of me like this, and I'm looking at Tony, looking at the screen, and I go, hey, Tony, what do you think about this? And it's like, I get so much clarity on how Tony's gonna respond to the copy I just wrote. And in that instance, the shit I wrote, Tony looked back at me and was like, I don't give a fuck about this shit. And I'm like, and I deleted it, and I rewrote it because I wasn't writing for Tony at the moment. So if you can hold your prospect in your hand, I think that's like the best thing you can do. This is so powerful right
here. Do we want to gather as much as possible, or is there a basic level of filtering that you want doing your searches? I mean, I kind of gave you the filter of those 5 elements. I mean, you're looking for things that are as emotionally compelling as possible. I mean, that really doesn't answer your question, but but it might help you, like, as far as like knowing you're going the right direction. So again, we'll get next week how you actually construct the big idea, but like you know, you should have a lot of things to work with because that's going to give you the best outcome as opposed to having too few things to work with or missing. That's a big mistake people make, is they're missing one of these elements, or they think like a big idea is only a story, or a big idea is only a mechanism, and then a copy's not going to be as strong as somebody else who has all 5 of these going for them.
Yep. And just remember, like I said before, like, Ryan is always researching. I am always researching. Even like if I get caught 4 minutes a day scrolling through Instagram aimlessly, it's okay, because the only people I follow on Instagram are my top clients and customers, or the other gurus that my prospects follow. So even when I'm wasting time, I'm still like, I am always researching. I'm never running out of material, right? So like I heard Joe give this great example, who's Agora Financial CEO, and he pulled up this sales letter that a competitor had written. And the headline was something like, the breakthrough system that gives you gains of 4,200 blah, blah, blah % in this much time. And it's proven, and it works for this person and this person and this person. And it's going to work for you too. Like, that was like the appeal of it. And Joe was like, I can promise you this shit will not work. It will not work. Why? Because there's nothing unique about it. There's nothing really urgent about it. There's no villain here. There's no really hot story going on here. There's no unbelievably emotionally compelling proof. There's just some basic proof. And the whole point of it was that the person who wrote this letter did not do their research. And you could tell they didn't do their research because they made a generic fucking promise and used generic fucking proof. The only way that they could have done something much better that could have made them a lot more money in sales would have been doing 10 times the research, as Ryan said, that they did, right? And you can just tell they didn't do the research because they're making the same claims and the same promises, the same stories, and the same proof that everyone else in the industry is already making. So like, we'll see it from you right away if you actually did your research or not. Because if you did your research, you're gonna have some really unique, it might not be good, but it's gonna be unique, I promise you that. But if your shit just sounds like what's already out there, I know you didn't do any fucking research. That's the key. Like Dan Kennedy says, in order to have new material, you need raw material first, right? So this is raw material gathering phase. That's what we're doing here.
The homework assignment is to study your product, study the world, and study your prospect, and try to collect those 5 elements: stories, proof, promises, mechanisms, and problems and villains. So your homework assignment is to do as much raw material gathering as you can do in the next 7 days. So when you come to the next session, Jason and I can show you how to put it together to make it one very compelling, powerful, big idea that hopefully that alone will help sell what you have to offer. But definitely it'll give you enough all by itself that you can maybe express it even different ways with different headlights and leads, and it might even work on it might just give you more swings at the plate because you'll have different ways of saying the same thing in a compelling way. And that's another like secret is if you can get a great big idea, like I don't know how many headlines and leads Chris Haddad's Text Your Wife into Bed has had, but I think there's been multiple different ones. There's definitely different leads for End of America. And that's how they were able to run that promotion for like 6 years, by just changing the first couple of pages really into a different way of expressing the same big idea.
Yep. Yeah, and just to make it clear, after this session's over, I'm gonna hop in the Facebook group real quick, and I'm going to clearly post the homework assignments so you guys have it written down as well. So that should be easy. I'm gonna make sure everyone does that. And that's the other thing with research is, as Ryan was just saying, like you're going to, once your offer starts working, there's gonna come a point where the marketplace is gonna get fatigued by it or desensitized to it, and at that point you're gonna need to re-lead, which means to rewrite the first couple pages of it. And if you did all this research before, you'll have like 10 different leads you'll be able to think of to re-lead the offer. Like for Copy Badass, as Ryan will tell you, I wrote a couple of leads first that I'll never use them. There's just like 4 or 5 pages of like questionable copy that you'll never see, right? And that's just the game. That's what it is.
Yeah, and success breeds success. If once you come up with one big idea and you tested it, you're gonna learn so much. You're gonna learn what if it worked, you're gonna learn a lot. If it fails, it's a game you can't lose really, because either way you're gonna get feedback directly from the market, whether they liked it or didn't like it, and that's gonna help you moving forward. And then, if you're in a competitive space and you have success, other people are gonna copy you, and you have to get even more deeper in the research. That's where we are in Agora Financial, because we compete with other Agora companies, the exact same customers with basically the same kind of offer. They're all financial newsletters. We have to go down to another whole level and constantly be researching new stories, new proof, new promises, new mechanisms, and new problems and villains all the time. But we can also see what worked in the past, and that gives us some direction for the future on what to build from.
Yep. Cool. All right. So, gang, we're going to wrap up here in just a second. Before we do for our first class, just let me know in the chat. Let me and Ryan know. I know that there was tons. This is a very hard question. But for you, what was the most insightful thing you picked up today that's going to change how you approach and write copy? That's what I want to know. Just let me know in the chat. And it's cool because then everyone else can see what everyone else really stuck out to them. So Tom said magic over science. That's cool. There, all the proof elements, how it relates. You know, your prospect in your hand, doing the research. Good. Got as much emotional proof as possible. Yeah, proof that supports your claims. Being a literal detective, Andrew. Yeah, that's good. If you can actually take on the identity of an actual detective, like go back and watch Sherlock Holmes and see what Robert Downey Jr. Like, go look at the lengths the guy was going to. He risked his life 10 times to solve the case. All right. So risk your life 10 times to write the copy. That's what I'm saying, right? Like go that far and then pull it back to the point of I'm not going to die, and that's the edge of how far you can really go with being a detective here.
Yeah, and that would give you an awesome story and awesome proof too. That aspect of it. All these things relate to they're all facets of a big idea, and hopefully. If you just get another thing too is if you just get like say you got 4 of the pieces and you just need the 5th piece, well, that's a lot easier than just not even knowing where to start. Proof is God. That's true. Proof. Yeah, we really hammered proof because I don't want to say one's more important than the other, but it's pretty important. So that's why I spend a lot of time on proof. That's not the only part of it. It's just it's an important part for sure.
It's an important part. Yeah, and like just go back to detective. The last thing, like a lot of you when you start writing your leads and your stuff, you're gonna have interesting ideas for stories, and I use the word interesting on purpose because it's a nice way to not say good or bad. Just call it interesting. But if you really go to great lengths as a detective to crack the case and find the proof, you are building an incredible story that you'll be able to weave into your copy immediately. So you don't have to rely on a eureka moment. Like you can generate your own eureka moment simply by being a motherfucking detective and doing some like super left field stuff that no one would do to find out the best information or find out the secret for your prospect. All right.
I think it's just kind of a fun way to live life too, right? Like to always be curious. That's like one of the things when I recruit copywriters to work for Agora Financial is like people just have like endless curiosity. That's like one of the key things we're looking for because like you really need that for the work. But I don't know, it's fun. It's fun to like constantly be looking for these 5 things and trying to reconnect them in different ways all the time. And I've gotten the craziest ideas. I don't know, and haven't always worked. And a lot of them have been just like shit. But like again, like from movies or from like idle chatter you hear from somebody else or some gossip you see in like in an internet forum or something in the news. It's like once you get your brain tuned into these things, you're like constantly collecting it almost unconsciously. And if you can really get good at doing this all the time. And like people are asking questions like, will it take 2 weeks or take a month? Like it won't even matter because the idea will just pop in your head and you'll have it and it's ready to go. And like 80% of your sales ladder is pretty much, you gotta figure out how to express it. But like a good idea, it's not really hard to express it. That's the thing. Some of these ideas are so simplistic that you look at it and be like duh, like anyone could have came up with that. Well, that's not really true. I mean, it just seems that way because they're just compelling. But there's probably a lot of work that went into it ahead of time, either consciously or unconsciously. But when you see it after a fact, that's the hardest part about trying to study the big idea. It's not really mentioned in a lot of copywriting books. Like David Ogilvy kind of mentions it, but he just describes it after the fact, which I always found very frustrating. Like you need a big idea, you'll know it when you see it, and it's like, what the fuck's that do for me? Like, know when I see it, like have a glass of wine and put the radio on and play the piano, and it's gonna pop in your head. Well, I tried that. I drank a lot of drinks and listening to music, and nothing popped in my head. So I think you really need those raw materials. And the book Technique for Producing Ideas talks again about like raw materials in the abstract, but hopefully these are 5 concrete things you guys can go after, and you know where to look now because it's going to be in one of those 3 circles. It's either going to be part of the prospect's life, or it's going to be in the world, or it's actually in your product.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be more interesting person your next cocktail party for sure.
Okay. So again, I'm gonna post the homework in the Facebook group now, guys. A lot of you are asking about the Agora swipe file, so I'm gonna over email me and Ryan. We'll get that, and we'll get that out in the next couple of days. So we'll get that as well, which will help you guys as you start studying promos. Again, we mentioned before, studying a promo a day. If you're gonna study someone, Agora is a really good fucking person to study. And then I think we'll be good, and we'll be ready for next week. So again, like you guys are already in the phase of writing your promo. Like you've already started because we've already started on the first step of the 6 steps of the engine. So this is research week, and next week is when we're gonna start talking about the big idea. Right. And some of you ask, are we gonna get feedback on our big ideas? The answer is yes. We're gonna use the Facebook group to give you guys all kinds of feedback, and it'll be good because it's really, really hard to 1, generate a big idea on your own, like being that creative on your own, and then 2, validating that idea on your own is also 10 times harder because it's your idea, so you think it's great, but shit, what about other people, right? So being able to talk about it with each other in the Facebook group and with other copywriters is so important. So yes, the answer is of course yes. So everyone, amazing work today. I can't believe that was over 2 hours. That was a fun, wild ride. So thank you guys so much for kicking ass, and don't let us down this week. All right, make us proud. Do some good goddamn research. Be a fucking detective this week, and we will see you guys next Friday. Peace.